Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Classic Golf Clubs, and more particularly to part 2 of the video about the Pryme Golf Company of Cambridge. Hopefully you've already watched part 1, where I reviewed the set of irons that we're discussing here, and also asked the question, does anybody know anything at all about the clubs? Because at the time I had a complete blank. Since then though, I've had a bit of an embarrassing moment which I'll reveal shortly. First of all, let's have a very quick look at the irons.
So let's quickly remind ourselves about some of the distinguishing features of the Pryme model. I think the first one is the parallel top and bottom lines and this large radius at either end. And if we come down to the sand iron, we can see that that's got a huge amount of metal on the toe end and a very unusual looking sole. You can probably also see that the shafts, I've cleaned those up. I'll show a quick video of how I did that. They're looking a lot better than they were. But first of all, I've got quite a big confession to make. When I made the video, I said I couldn't find any information at all about Pryme. I was leafing through some of my old catalogues the other day, and what did I come across? But lo and behold, a Pryme catalogue. And I remember now, I saw this on eBay. I bought it, and I don't know whether I was going on holiday when I received it or what, but I stuck it in a cupboard and promptly forgot all about it. So this was just the sort of information I was looking for. Let's have a quick look through the catalogue and what we can say about the clubs.
Here's the front cover then. The cover says performers, but I think that's more just to do with the clubs in general. If we look inside pages 1 and 2, in the bottom left corner we have an actual address and a photograph of the entrance. If we look on Google Maps and try and find that address, we know it's in Cambridge, and if we zoom in we find a street of suburban houses, and these are a mix from Victorian, Edwardian terraces right up to 21st century houses. So which one was actually Golf House, I don't know. The doorway with Pryme above it, whether that's a French window or an actual office doorway, I can't say. So, performers because we've got some script there. I'll let you read that in your own time if you want to. The next page makes some strange claims about the effect of swing speed and how the shape of the Pryme club head will ensure that the ball doesn't curve when struck with different swing speeds. Some dubious claims there. I'll let you read them for yourself. On the following page we have discussion about glare and how they've used a matte finish on the clubs, and also the hosel positioning, where they say it will ensure that the shaft is always in line with the contact point of the blade to the ball. I did take a picture having read this, and I can't really see any difference. They're all slightly offset, but nothing unusual there in the design. A bit of talk about special stainless steel and thin necks for allowing adjustment of the lie and loft. On to the next page. And now we're given some useful information about the dot settings. And I'm pleased to see that the green dot, which is the ones I've got, are standard. And we also have upright, flat, a ladies spec and custom. Over the page, and we have, well, rather than going forward as with the irons, we're sort of going backwards. They're talking about the resilience and quality of pure wood. Some dubious claims made there. Again, I'll let you read it yourself and make your own mind up. Turning the page, and we come on to putters. Talk about the importance of getting a good roll on the ball and getting the ball away from the putting surface cleanly, and also talk about the material of choice, manganese bronze. Again, you can read this at your own leisure. And on the other side of this 2-page spread we have the different putter models, and centre left is mine, the XYNXR, medium sole balanced with 3/4 end hosel shaft. All putters are available in a variety of lengths, as can be seen there. On to the last 2 pages, and we have the selection of grips on offer, including mine, number 4, Pro Pride Cork and Rubber all-weather slip-on grip. And we also have some nice looking options for the putters. And at the bottom of that page we have an explanation of the shafts, and as I suspected, swing is for the slowest swing speed and power is for the hitter. And then on the last page we have a brief description of the inventor of the clubs, John Cotton, born into a golfing family, it says. It doesn't say whether that was the family of Henry Cotton, but it does make you wonder. He had a university engineering background, but I did do some internet searches on John Cotton and also the address at French's Road, but I couldn't find anything further. So although we have this wonderful catalogue, it doesn't really bring us any closer to the reason why the Pryme company failed so quickly. I can only assume that it was just down to the extraordinary look of the clubs, and especially the look at address, which was probably a step too far for the average golfer to take on board. Unfortunate really, because they're a very interesting set. And on the back cover we have another view of a wood, an iron and a putter. Let's see how I get on playing the clubs now. Before that, a very quick look at the woods and putter that I'm going to be playing.
I've played these in several times before. They're the Johnny Miller JM63, produced in 1978, I think. The 1 and the 3 wood there. And this is the putter I'm using, which I've had for quite a long time, a lot longer than the irons actually, and it is, you'll be pleased to see, a Pryme. This one is the XYNX model, lined face, and it's a bit of an answer style heel and toe weighted putter. With a nice scoop to pick the ball up off the green. Try and find an opportunity to do that during the video. So let's get on to the course. I'll just bring up the lofts quickly.
The irons are generally one club stronger than my ideal of a 40-degree 7-iron, let's say, with 4-degree steps up and down. I'm going to play 9 holes, bogey format, match play against the course as usual, but today I'm going to play from the white tees, as the course is quite fiery at the moment, being so dry, and balls are running a long way. 3 wood, straight off the tee, and it's not the greatest hit, no warm-up, bad swing basically. Went 177, so left me 175, and I'm hitting the 4-iron. Another poor swing.
I'm going to try this frightening sand iron straight out.
And I catch this a little bit thin, although it does make the green. More on that thin contact later. And on the green, and I've got, I take 2 putts. So that's a halved hole with my stroke, on to the next. And here we have the par 3, second hole, and I push my tee shot a long way right.
To that horrible shot, I've got the X wedge.
The unusual X wedge. And I do actually manage to play a pretty decent shot with it. Which gives me an opportunity for a par. The putt just goes by on the left, so that's a bogey, hole halved. On my way to the next tee, I almost ran over a kestrel and its young offspring. The parent flew away, but the fledgling cheeked around close to the tee. You can just make out the parent there on a nest box, and there's the fledgling still looking for its mother. So I played as quickly as I could and moved on, but I was waved through by the group in front. So as in the normal fashion when you wave through, my ball almost hit the pair of guys who'd waved me through. I didn't film the bunker shot, as I was just trying to get as quickly through the 2 guys as I could. This was my 3rd. I took an 8-iron, which wasn't really enough club, and ended up quitting on it as well, coming up short right. Then got this embarrassing display of chipping. I'd like to say it's because I was rushing, trying to get clear of the guys in front, but it's probably just my poor chipping game. I eventually managed to get it on the green and took 2 putts. So that was a big score. I worked it back using the video and it was an 8. Here we go on the next tee. I'm going with the driver. I hit this one pretty well. 252 yards, just into the first cut on the right. I then played a 6-iron. Just went a little bit right and finished right under a little bush. Unfortunately, I had to take this penalty drop. Playing my 4th now, I went for a chip and run with the 7-iron. And I judged it pretty well, if I may say so myself.
That's a better one.
Here I am, putting for a bogey to halve the hole. And in she goes. That's worthy of a little ball pickup celebration using the back of the putter. On to the next hole. The observant among you will notice I've gone off the yellow tee by mistake here, but I did hit a good tee shot into the breeze with the 3-wood and it went 220 yards. Left me here about 130 odd away, took 8-iron and hit a very poor shot, weak push into the bunker there. I took my sand iron, got it out, but again it was a bit knifey, more on that later. But it did find the green, although some way from the hole. And here I am putting for a par. Don't get a shot here, so it needs to go in, but it doesn't. And I end up taking 2 more to hole out, so that's a 6, and I've lost the hole.
Not going very well so far. Don't feel comfortable over these at all. They just don't feel very balanced, if you know what I mean. Everything seems to be going right. I'm wondering if that's because of the huge amount of weight towards the toe, just slowing me down slightly, closing the face. Anyway, I'm 2 down now.
I couldn't get my camera trolley combination behind the tee, so it's a side view shot and I'm hitting 7-iron. Decent contact, again it's gone right.
Let's try the X wedge again.
Yeah, I'm chancing it with the X wedge again. It's another good shot in the end. Oh, here we are, putting for a par. And I make it. That's got to be worth another celebration ball pickup. Seventh hole, shot hole, and I hit driver. The wind is off the left and it just pushes this a little bit and it ends up going into the bunker. Here I am, 155 yards away. I take the 9-iron and make a good contact. And here I am, some way from the green, but I am putting because this green is treacherous from the angle I'm coming in at. It'll be very difficult to chip and stop it on the green, so I'm just playing the percentage. And I get it reasonably close, as you can see here. It's still a very difficult putt though, because this breaks a lot more than it looks on the video. Not a bad first effort though, and I'll be happy to come off there with a bogey, which with my shot is a halved hole.
I'm going to do a little experiment with this Titleist ball using the Razor sand iron. I'll do focus so we can see that extremely sharp leading edge.
Right, so I've zoomed in here and slowed the film down, but you can't really see the contact. It was a bit of a top, but it did hit the ball on its equator. And if we can now zoom in
certainly
and
make
have
a
a look
mark
at the
if anything's
damage.
going to. Well, there we are. I don't know if that's coming to focus or not.
Big cut there. Anyway, here's my tee shot on the next hole. It's another decent hit. Goes 213 yards, but it leaves me in this deep rough. I've just taken 8 iron and hit it as hard as I can, and I managed to advance it a reasonable distance.
Got 210 to go into the wind. It's a front flag, so 190 to the front. I should hit 3 wood, but I'm going to hit the 3 iron at 20 degrees.
Well, I finally managed to hit one straight, and it's a good contact as well. Gets up pretty close to the green, as you can see here. I opt to putt. It needs a bit of a wrap, which I don't give it. So I need to hole this one for a half, a little bit further than it looks here, but that's a very poor effort. I end up taking a 6. Disappointing. The match is over. I've lost 2 and 1, but we'll see the last hole. I hit a very good drive, 266 yards. Brings me down here, 130 to go. I hit my 9 iron, and it comes up just short of the green, but it's carried the bunker. After the last putting from off the green display, I go for a 7 iron chip here, and it's quite a nice one. And that leaves me with this putt for a par. It would be nice to finish on that, even though I've already lost the match. And indeed, I do manage to hole it. So there we go. And what did I think of the clubs? The woods I've played before, they performed very well, I thought. I hit some nice drives, admittedly longer because of the dry fairways. The irons, as I said during the video, I just didn't feel comfortable with them. Whether it was just the look of them, the toe always appeared lower than the heel, although they are parallel. But the toe weight, just, I don't know whether it was a mental thing, but I did seem to push a lot of shots right. Talking about the sand iron earlier, I did the experiment, but when I was looking at the ball after that, I did find 2 other cuts. I suspect these were from the shot on the first hole and also the shot from the bunker on the 5th hole. What about the putter? I putted pretty well with it, but I didn't like the feel of it, and I didn't like the sound either. I was able to do some nice fancy ball pickups with it. So there we go. Let's have a look at the score. As I say, I lost the match 2 and 1. I finished up 10 over par, which was quite a bit over my handicap. Well, there we are. I don't think I'll be playing these irons regularly, just occasionally when I'm playing with friends and I want to play something different. Well, I hope you like that, and I hope to see you again for the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.